You ever notice how the deadliest things in nature rarely make a sound? Watch closely. A shadow cuts across the sky, and a pigeon vanishes midair like it was erased from existence. No warning, no mercy, just a blur and silence. That's the kind of world we're stepping into. A world ruled from above. Up here, speed beats strength, patience beats panic, and a single miscalculation means you're not coming home. These are the sky assassins. The raptors with tactics so sharp they make human weapons feel outdated. Today we're flying through deserts, tundra, rainforests, oceans, and ice fields to meet 25 of the most lethal birds of prey on Earth. Some kill with speed, some kill with strategy, and one of them kills with a single stomp strong enough to break a snake's spine. But here's the question that should keep you watching. Among these 25 killers, there's one bird whose hunting style is so bizarre, so extreme, that scientists still argue about how it's even possible. Think you can guess which one before we reveal it? Take a breath. Look up. Because our first assassin doesn't fly toward its prey. It falls like a bullet from heaven. They say nothing outruns fear, but the peregrine falcon comes pretty close. Imagine a creature so fast it can erase another bird from the sky before that bird even realizes it's in danger. Sounds exaggerated, right? But here's the uncomfortable truth. If the peregrine were a weapon, it'd be classified as a guided missile. And every time it dives, something somewhere is about to have a very bad day. Picture this, a pigeon cruising along, minding its own business. Then the sky above it bends. The falcon folds its wings, becomes a living bullet, and drops from the heavens at over 200 miles an hour. Some dives even break 300, faster than sports cars, faster than fighter jets during landing, faster than your brain can process what just happened. And here's the real question. How does anything survive that long in a world where this exists? Most people think it's pure speed, but that's only half the story. The peregrine is a strategist. It climbs high, scouts the battlefield, waits for the perfect angle. It reads wind like a sailor, sunlight like a sniper. When it commits to the stoop, that famous death dive, it's not reacting, it's predicting. That's what makes it terrifying. Then the fun twist, it doesn't kill with claws first. No, it punches prey midair with a closed foot, a literal sky uppercut. The impact alone is enough to knock a bird unconscious or break wings instantly. Imagine being hit so hard you don't even have time to be confused. But here's your debate hook. Is the peregrine the world's most perfect predator, or just the most dramatic? I mean, it could hunt slower, safer, simpler, but no, it chooses supersonic dive kick every single time. Efficient? Absolutely. Overkill? Maybe. You tell me. And before you decide, keep this in mind. Speed isn't the only hunting style in the sky. Some killers don't chase. They wear their prey down until the land itself becomes a trap. Most predators end a hunt with speed, but the gerfalcon begins with endurance. And here's the paradox. In a frozen world where everything is trying to conserve energy, this falcon chooses the long game. No flashy dives, no dramatic stoops, just relentless, grinding pursuit that turns the Arctic sky into a battlefield of willpower. If the peregrine is a bullet, the gerfalcon is a heat-seeking missile that simply refuses to quit. Picture a white ptarmigan blasting off across the tundra. It zigzags, dodges, burns every last calorie trying to escape. Most raptors would give up after a few seconds, but the gerfalcon, it leans in, wings pumping, body slicing through sub-zero air. Snow whipping off the ground as both birds skim inches above the ice. This chase isn't measured in meters, it's measured in minutes. And in the Arctic, minutes feel like forever. Here's the twist. The gerfalcon isn't the fastest falcon, not by a long shot. What it is, he is stubborn. It knows that in the cold, muscles cramp, wings tire, panic sets in fast. The ptarmigan burns out first, always. And when that last burst of strength fails, the gerfalcon closes the distance with a calm, almost casual confidence that feels a little unsettling. It's like watching someone win a marathon by never letting you stop running. Fun fact that blows people's minds. This falcon can drag down prey nearly its own size, and sometimes bigger. Think about that. A bird built for endurance using sheer persistence to pull a struggling snowbird straight out of the air. No theatrics, just dominance through stamina. Now here's your mini debate hook. What's scarier? A predator that kills you fast, or one that chases you until your body gives up on its own? The Arctic has already chosen its answer. And honestly, I'd rather take the peregrine's quick knockout than the gerfalcon's slow, inevitable collapse. Because if you think tag team hunting, ambush strikes, and sky chases are intense, wait until you meet the next falcon. This one doesn't hunt alone. It hunts like it's running a coordinated heist. Most raptors hunt solo, but the Aplomado falcon looked at that rule and said, nah, teamwork sounds way more fun. And that's already suspicious, right? Since when do apex predators decide to share lunch? But this bird doesn't just share, it runs coordinated, tactical, almost military-level operations in the sky. If the peregrine is a missile and the gerfalcon is a marathon runner, the Aplomado is a two-person strike team with feathers. Picture this. A panicked dove bursts from a thorn bush. It thinks it's clever, taking a sharp turn left. Good move, except that's exactly where the second falcon has been waiting. One Aplomado flushes prey upward. The other swoops in from a blind angle like it rehearsed the move 10 times in front of a mirror. And the crazy part? They don't collide. They don't miss. They glide through these high-speed crossings with the confidence of acrobats who trust each other's timing down to the millisecond. Fun twist? Scientists still argue how they coordinate so perfectly. Are they reading each other's wing beats, calling out plays mid-flight? Or do they just have that spooky couple telepathy thing going on? You tell me. Drop your theory below, because whatever the answer is, it clearly works. Their success rate is ridiculous, but here's where it gets even crazier. These falcons hunt fast, not peregrine fast, but close enough that you get the same "what just happened" feeling when the dust settles. The Aplomado doesn't kill with brute force. It wins with geometry, angles, anticipation, pressure. It cuts off escape routes until the target literally runs out of sky. Mini debate hook for you. Is this cooperation or manipulation? One bird always seems to do the chasing, the exhausting part, while the other snatches the prize. Is that smart strategy or the avian version of letting your friend do all the work on a group project? Either way, the Aplomado proves something important. You don't need size or raw power to dominate, just coordination and maybe a partner who finishes your sentences. Now get ready, because the next assassin hunts in a way that feels almost supernatural, staying perfectly still while the rest of the world moves. You ever see something in the sky that looks like it should fall, but doesn't? That tiny shape just hanging there, flapping like it's trying to keep a secret from gravity? That's the American kestrel, the smallest falcon in North America, and somehow the one with the most attitude. If birds had a Napoleon complex, this one would be the mascot. Its hunting trick feels almost unfair. While most raptors need speed or power, the kestrel goes, nah, I'll just stay perfectly still in midair. Hovering, literal suspension, like a living drone. It locks its eyes on the grass below, waiting, calculating, judging. And here's the spooky part. It's not just looking for movement, it's looking for glow. Rodent urine, invisible to us, reflects ultraviolet light. To the kestrel, mouse highways light up like neon runways. Imagine having night vision goggles for pea trails. That's the level of cheating we're dealing with. So now the mouse thinks it's hidden. The grass whispers, a shadow trembles. Then the kestrel folds its wings and drops with that "I warned you" energy. It doesn't need peregrine-level speed, just precision. It hits the ground like a decisive punctuation mark. Boom, dinner served. Here's your fun twist. Despite being a literal sky sniper, the kestrel is adorable. Painted like a toy, rusty orange, slate blue with a face mask like it's auditioning for a superhero movie. People see it and go, "Aw." The mouse sees it and goes, "Oh no." Mini debate hook for you. Does its cuteness make the kills feel less brutal? Or more? Is it scarier when a predator looks like a Pixar character but hunts like a silent assassin? And think about it. This bird chooses control over chaos. While others chase, dive, and crash into things, the kestrel waits for the world to make a mistake. But if you think hovering is impressive, wait until you meet the next sky hunter. This one doesn't just grab prey in midair. It steals insects straight out of the wind like it's shopping in a grocery aisle. If the American kestrel is the hovering sniper, the Eurasian hobby is the sky's pickpocket. Fast, smooth, and annoyingly good at stealing things right out of the air. This bird doesn't chase insects. It collects them. Like a thief running full speed through a crowded marketplace, grabbing valuables without ever slowing down. Watch closely. A dragonfly darts left, right, up, doing that impossible helicopter dance. Most predators wouldn't even bother. Too agile, too unpredictable. But the hobby, it smiles, metaphorically, and goes straight for it. Wings pull tight, the body compresses, and suddenly it's not flying. It's slicing through the sky like it's late to something important. Then in a move so quick you almost miss it, the hobby flicks a talon upward, snatches the dragonfly clean, and keeps going. No celebration, no pause, just business as usual. Here's the twist. Dragonflies are some of the fastest, most maneuverable insects on Earth. They even have a 95% hunting success rate themselves. So when a bird consistently catches the thing that catches everything else, you know you're dealing with a different tier of predator. And don't even get me started on swallows and swifts. These birds are aerial athletes with PhDs in dodging danger. Yet the hobby chases them with a kind of, let's see if you're as good as you think you are, energy. Sometimes it wins, sometimes it doesn't. But the chase, absolutely glorious. Here's your mini debate hook. Is the Eurasian hobby a master tactician, or just a reckless speed junkie that refuses to accept limits? Because let's be honest, half of its hunting style looks like improvisation at 70 miles per hour. Fun fact, after catching prey mid-air, the hobby often eats while flying, mid-flight dining. Imagine grabbing a sandwich off a shelf without stopping, unwrapping it, and eating it while sprinting. That's the kind of flex we're talking about. So, hovering, endurance, teamwork, mid-air theft, we've seen all kinds of tactics so far. But the next assassin brings something else entirely. No drama, no speed, just pure, silent ruthlessness. The funny thing about the Merlin is, it doesn't look dangerous. Small, compact, no flashy colors, no dramatic crest. Just a serious little falcon with a constant expression of, don't underestimate me. And that's the perfect setup because the Merlin's specialty isn't speed or strength, it's ambush. Pure, unapologetic, low-flying trickery. Imagine this. A flock of small birds is feeding peacefully in an open field. Everything feels calm, maybe too calm. Then out of nowhere, something rockets across the ground barely a foot above the grass. No warning, no shadow, no time to react. That's the Merlin's game. Fly so low, so fast, and so silently that the prey never realizes the danger until it's already airborne. Which is exactly what the Merlin wants. Because once the flock panics and takes off, the chase becomes a controlled explosion of chaos. Birds scattering in every direction, wings slapping air, and the Merlin weaving through the confusion with laser focus. It selects one target, usually the one that hesitates, then accelerates with a burst that feels almost disrespectful. In seconds, it's over. Here's the twist. The Merlin doesn't rely on a single technique. Sometimes it hunts from cover, using trees, shrubs, even rocks as hideouts before blasting forward like a spring-loaded missile. Other times it climbs high, waits for the perfect moment, and then dives just enough to push prey into open space. It's not a one-trick predator. It's a strategist disguised as a speed demon. Here's your mini debate hook. Is the Merlin brilliant because it avoids flashy tactics, or because it weaponizes simplicity? There's something almost smug about a bird that says, I don't need to fly 300 miles an hour. I just need you not to see me coming. Fun fact, Medieval falconers called the merlin the lady's hawk because noble women used them for hunting. But don't let the title fool you. This little falcon punches far above its weight. Pound for pound, it may be one of the fiercest raptors on the planet. And if you think ambush tactics are impressive, wait until you meet a hunter whose kills are so quiet, even silence becomes a weapon. You ever notice how the scariest things aren't the ones that roar, but the ones that don't make a sound at all? That's the barn owl, the ghost of the night sky. If the merlin hunts like a silent missile, the barn owl hunts like it never existed in the first place. No flapping, no rustle, no warning, just disappearance. Picture a mouse nibbling seeds under moonlight. It pauses, listens. Everything is quiet, maybe too quiet. Then suddenly it's lifted off the ground, legs kicking at empty air, because something with a heart-shaped face and pitch-black eyes materialized above it without so much as a whisper. That's not magic. That's engineering. Here's the twist. The barn owl's feathers are built for silence. The edges are serrated like tiny acoustic panels, breaking airflow into soft, harmless currents. Air doesn't slide over its wings. It dissolves. If a peregrine is a bullet, the barn owl is a muffled bedtime story. One that ends badly if you're a rodent. And then there's the hearing. Oh boy. This bird can detect a mouse under grass, under leaves, even under snow. Its ears are lopsided, literally crooked, letting it triangulate sound like a living sonar dish. Think about that. A creature that can hear the shape of your movement. Many debate hook. Which is more terrifying? A predator you see coming at 200 miles an hour? Or one that kills you without ever introducing itself? Personally, I'll take the high-speed knockout. At least I'd have a warning. Fun fact, barn owls swallow prey whole. Bones, fur, everything. Later, they cough up perfect little pellets like nature's recycling program. Clean, efficient, and slightly gross, which honestly fits their vibe perfectly. But the most unsettling part? Barn owls often hover over the same hunting routes night after night, learning every bush, every stone. And once they know your hiding spots, you're done. And yet, for all its ghost-like stealth, some hunters don't rely on silence at all. Some rely on sheer, overwhelming power. If the barn owl is a ghost, then the great horned owl is the monster that ghosts are afraid of. This bird doesn't sneak around to be polite. It sneaks because it can, because everything it hunts is better off not knowing what's coming. This is the raptor people call the tiger of the sky, and honestly, that might be underselling it. Picture this. A rabbit freezes in the brush. It thinks it heard something. Maybe a branch shifting, maybe its own heartbeat. Then the forest suddenly feels heavier, like the air itself grew claws. Two glowing yellow eyes lock in, and before the rabbit even twitches, the owl drops from its perch with a force that feels personal. Talons slam down with up to 500 pounds of crushing pressure, enough to snap bone instantly. That's not hunting, that's domination. Here's the fun twist. The great horned owl will attack pretty much anything. Skunks? Yep. Hawks? Absolutely. Other owls? Regular occurrence. There are stories of these birds wrestling ospreys mid-air because apparently being the apex of the night isn't enough. It wants the day shift too. And those horns? Not horns, just feathers. Fancy, intimidating eyebrow feathers that make it look like it's judging your life choices. And maybe it is. If you were a prey animal, it definitely would be. Many debate hook, is the great horned owl brave or just unhinged? At what point does fearless predator become, this dude picks fights he doesn't need to? Drop your verdict in the comments, because the scientific answer leans suspiciously toward both. Fun fact, despite its size and power, this owl can fly almost as silently as a barn owl. Not quite ghost level, but close enough that most victims never hear the wings that end their night. But the coolest part? Great horned owls don't migrate. They own their territory year-round, sitting through winter storms like they're watching TV, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And yet, Even this powerhouse has a rival. One hunter doesn't rely on strength or intimidation, it relies on patience. The kind of patience only a predator shaped by snow and silence could master. Out here in the white emptiness of the Arctic, everything is loud, even silence. And in that silence sits the snowy owl, the predator that doesn't need to hide because the snow itself hides it. While other owls lurk in shadows, this one is the shadow, a ghost in broad daylight. Imagine a lemming darting across the tundra, wide open terrain, nowhere to run, rushing for cover that doesn't exist. The snowy owl sees it, but doesn't move. Not yet. It waits and waits. Minutes stretch into forever. The wind howls. The lemming's tiny heart thumps loud enough for us to imagine hearing it. But the owl, still as carved ice. Then a single blink, slow, deliberate, and the owl launches with a sudden burst that breaks the stillness like a crack of thunder. White wings explode upward. The lemming never had a chance. Patience isn't the snowy owl's tactic. It's its superpower. Here's the twist. For such a calm, serene creature, the snowy owl is a surprisingly aggressive hunter. They'll take down geese, ducks, even other birds of prey. When food is scarce, these owls stop playing nice. Survival turns elegance into brutality. Mini debate hook, does a patient killer feel less violent or more? Is it scarier to be hunted by something that waits for you to fail on your own? And we haven't even talked about those eyes yet. Bright yellow, glowing against the landscape like twin suns. They don't just look through you, they feel like they judge every decision you've made since childhood. But that intensity, it's earned. Snowy owls have one of the widest hunting territories of any owl. Miles and miles of frozen nothing, all ruled by one silent ruler. Fun fact, the quiet white plumage isn't just camouflage. It actually insulates so well that snow can settle on the owl without melting. Imagine being so well built that winter itself gives up trying to freeze you. But for all its patience and poise, there's one owl that outdoes even the snowy stealth. One that can hear prey beneath feet of snow and plunge straight through it. In a world buried beneath snow, most hunters give up. But the great gray owl doesn't just hunt on the snow, it hunts through it. This bird is the Arctic's version of a detective who solves crimes by listening to the heartbeat of the victim through a wall. If that sounds dramatic, wait until you see how it actually works. Picture a mouse tunneling safely under almost 2 feet of powder, hidden, warm, invisible, not even a shadow above. But the great gray owl tilts its disc-shaped face, that giant satellite dish of feathers, and listens. Not for footsteps, not for breathing, for the tiny rhythmic thump of a beating heart. That's not metaphor, that's physics. It stands motionless, then suddenly snaps forward, wings out, and dives straight into the snow with a force that seems impossible for such a quiet creature. Snow erupts in a cloud, the owl disappears completely, and when the storm settles, it rises with a prize no other predator could have detected. It's like watching a ghost jump scare the landscape. Here's the twist. For all its power, the great gray owl is shockingly lightweight. It looks huge, but most of that size is fluff. Underneath the feathers, it weighs less than a house cat. Mini debate hook. Does that make it more impressive or more unbelievable? A bird that looks like an Arctic lion but weighs about as much as your groceries? Fun fact, and its face isn't just big for show. Those circular feathers channel sound with insane precision, turning the head into a natural parabolic microphone. If owls had podcasts, this one would have the best audio quality. And despite their stealth, they're surprisingly chill birds. Not aggressive, not arrogant, just methodical. The quiet scientist of the snow. But don't let the calm fool you. A great gray owl in hunting mode is as ruthless as any bird on this list, just quieter about it. But patience and precision can only get you so far. Some hunters don't wait for prey to reveal itself. Some bring raw, overwhelming force, enough to take down prey bigger than they are. If the great gray owl is the quiet scientist of the forest, the Eurasian eagle owl is the bulldozer. No subtlety, no hesitation, no polite, "Excuse me," before ending your entire bloodline. This is the largest owl on Earth, a feathery tank with wings, and it hunts with the confidence of something that knows absolutely nothing can stop it. Imagine standing in a rocky canyon at dusk. The wind dies, the air thickens, then you hear it, that deep, rolling hoo-hoo, echoing off the cliffs like someone woke up a prehistoric beast. And honestly, that's not far off. When an eagle owl calls, it feels less like a sound and more like a warning. Now picture a fox trotting across the rocks, nose down, minding its business. It doesn't look up. It should, because perched above, blending into the stone itself, the eagle owl lowers its head, spreads its massive wings, and drops with the force of a falling anvil. Those talons, each one bigger than a grizzly bear's claw. And the grip, enough pressure to crush bone instantly. This isn't hunting, this is removal. Here's the twist. Despite its sheer brutality, the eagle owl moves almost as silently as a barn owl, a massive killing machine. Whisper quiet, that should be illegal. Mini debate hook. What's scarier, a predator that's huge and loud, or a predator that's huge and silent? Which would you bet against if you absolutely had to pick one? Choose wisely. Fun fact, these owls aren't picky. They'll take foxes, hares, other owls, hawks, even small deer. Yes, deer. If it exists and isn't paying attention, the eagle owl considers it an option. Flexible diet, questionable morals. And yet, for all its power, the bird is loyal, territorial, and surprisingly family-oriented. It picks a cliff, claims it, defends it like a medieval warlord, and raises chicks with gentle devotion when it's not out committing sky-based war crimes. But now it's time to leave the cliffs and shadows behind. Our next assassin doesn't hide in forests or snowdrifts. It hunts where light shatters, reflections distort, and timing is everything. If most raptors rule the sky, the osprey rules the intersection, the exact place where sky meets water. And unlike the owls and falcons we've met so far, this hunter doesn't chase shadows or dive through snow. It dives into liquid mirrors, punching straight through the surface like it's breaking into another dimension. Picture a lake at sunrise, flat as glass. A trout ripples the surface. Just one mistake, one flash of silver, and the osprey locks in. It hovers for a split second, wings beating hard, body adjusting like it's running final calculations. Then, it drops. Not a gentle glide, not a graceful swoop, a full, vertical, feet-first missile strike. The bird hits the water with explosive force, entire body disappearing beneath the surface. For a moment, it looks like it drowned. Then it bursts back out, claws loaded with a fish it grabbed underwater. Like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but wetter and angrier. Here's the twist. The osprey has evolved a weaponized foot. Its talons have backward-facing barbs, like tiny grappling hooks, designed specifically to hold slippery fish. And the toes? They can rotate. Imagine being able to spin your big toe backward to get better grip in hand-to-hand combat. That's the osprey's vibe. Mini debate hook. Is this bird a specialist genius or a dangerous overachiever? Because specializing in fish means surviving only where fish exist. Yet somehow ospreys show up everywhere. Lakes, rivers, tropical coasts, mountain reservoirs. A limited predator that refuses to be limited. Fun fact, ospreys are so good at fishing that ancient fishermen used to train them, believing they were sacred. Today, we mostly just admire them from a distance, because nobody with sense tries to negotiate with a bird that drops from the sky like a harpoon. And the best part? When an osprey flies away with a fish, it rotates the prey to face forward. Aerodynamic efficiency. Even its lunch has to obey the laws of flight. But if you think diving is impressive, wait until you see a hunter that doesn't strike from above at all. One that kills with legs, not talons, using the sky's deadliest roundhouse kick. Some predators kill with speed, some with silence. But the secretary bird, it kills with legs. Long, stilt-like, runway model legs that make you think, there's no way this goofy thing is dangerous. And that's exactly how it gets you. Because behind those lashes, that fancy crest, and that strut that screams Fashion Week, hides one of the most efficient snake killers on the planet. Picture the savannah. Grass sways, heat shimmers, a deadly cobra rises, hood flaring, ready to strike. Most animals back away. Some flee. The secretary bird, it casually walks toward the snake like it's annoyed someone parked in its spot. Then the magic happens. A blur of movement. Too fast to track. One strike, then another, and another. Lightning fast kicks, each one delivering a force 5 times the bird's own body weight. Imagine being punted by a creature with the bone structure of a flamingo, but the aggression of a heavyweight boxer. That's what snakes deal with daily. Here's the twist. The secretary bird doesn't use talons to kill. It uses precision stomps. Its legs are built with shock-absorbing tendons that keep it from breaking its own bones, while curb-stomping venomous reptiles. Evolution basically handed it steel-toed boots. Mini debate hook: is this bird a genius for staying on the ground, or reckless for choosing to fist-fight snakes instead of flying away? Because it can fly, it just chooses not to, which says a lot about its personality. Fun fact: the bird doesn't only hunt snakes, it'll stomp rodents, insects, lizards, even small mammals. If it fits under the foot, it's fair game. And the weirdest part, it often swallows prey whole after dramatically kicking it into submission like a martial arts demonstration. But maybe the most shocking thing is how calm it looks while doing all this. Elegant crest, perfect eyeliner, graceful stride, and then, bam, death kick. And just when you think we've reached the strangest hunting method on this list, the next assassin goes even weirder. It doesn't run, it doesn't stomp, it kills by dropping bones from the sky. Most predators fight for flesh. The bearded vulture, it fights for bones. Yeah, bones. While other raptors tear into meat, this one goes straight for the skeleton, like it's ordering the weirdest item on the menu. But here's the part that really bends your brain. It doesn't just eat bones, it cooks them. Picture a goat carcass high in the mountains. Everything edible is gone. The vultures, foxes, crows, they've all had their turn. All that remains is the leftover scaffolding, useless to everyone except the bearded vulture. It swoops in with that punk rock beard, grabs the femur, heavier than it should be able to lift, and climbs higher, 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 until the world below turns into a mosaic of cliffs and shadows. Then, it drops the bone. It plummets, spins, explodes on the rocks with a crack that echoes across the valley. The bird circles back down, lands and inspects the fragments like a chef checking the crust on a loaf of bread. If the marrow isn't accessible yet, back to the sky. Round 2, round 3. Whatever it takes, persistence is the recipe. Here's the twist. Its stomach acid is so strong it can dissolve bone, not chew, not soften, dissolve. We're talking pH levels that make battery acid look like iced tea. Mini debate hook. Does that make the bearded vulture a genius recycler? Or the world's most intense food enthusiast? Imagine craving marrow so badly you start smashing skeletons off cliffs. That's commitment. Fun fact, despite its terrifying vibe and striking red eyes, the bearded vulture almost never attacks living animals. It's oddly gentle. Unless you're a bone, then all bets are off. And don't miss the look. Fiery orange feathers, stained by the bird deliberately bathing in iron-rich mud, dagger wings, and that black beard like a villain monologuing on a mountaintop. Honestly, if a bird ever looked like it had a secret backstory, it's this one. But as wild as bone dropping is, our next assassin is even stranger. It doesn't smash prey. It doesn't chase prey. It performs surgery with a beak built like a precision instrument. Most raptors use brute force. Some use speed. But the snail kite? It's a surgeon, a calm, methodical specialist that hunts snails. And before you laugh, remember that anything that builds its entire lifestyle around a single food source has to be either very smart or very stupid. Spoiler, this bird is terrifyingly smart. Picture a marsh at sunset, lilies floating, water shimmering. A snail clings to a stem just below the surface, completely unaware that its worst nightmare is gliding silently overhead. The snail kite dips down, feet barely touching the water, grabs the snail cleanly, and perches on a branch for the main event. Extraction. Here's where things get surgical. The beak, that long, razor-curved, needle-thin beak designed not to crush, not to smash, but to slide perfectly into the snail's spiral shell. Hook the meat and pull it out whole. No mess, no broken shell, no wasted effort. It's like watching a locksmith crack open a vault in 5 seconds. And here's the twist. This bird is so specialized that if its wetland loses snails, it's done. No plan B, no, I guess I'll eat a mouse today. Snail or nothing. And somehow that specialization makes it even more impressive. Mini debate hook. Is the snail kite a genius for mastering one perfect technique, or wildly reckless for putting all its evolutionary eggs in one basket? Because I only eat snails feels like a risky career choice for a predator. Fun fact, snail kites have one of the strongest beak-to-skill ratios in the raptor world. That crazy hook isn't just for show. They can extract a snail in seconds while humans often struggle even with tools. Yes, the bird outperforms us at technical work. Try not to take it personally. And the flight? Surprisingly elegant. These birds hover low over wetlands, scanning for the faint glimmer of snail shells in the water. It's patient, precise, almost polite, until it isn't. Because while the snail kite thrives alone with finesse, the next assassin thrives with numbers, hunting like a wolf pack with wings. Most raptors hunt alone. Dramatic dives, solo ambushes, lone wolf hero moments. But the Harris's hawk? It looked at the entire bird of prey playbook and said, "Teamwork, baby." This is the wolf of the sky, the pack hunter, the bird that decided teamwork wasn't just optional. It was a tactical advantage worth rewriting evolution for. Picture the desert, heat waves ripple, a rabbit bolts from a bush, thinking it has a clean escape route. Usually that's true, but the Harris's hawk isn't a usually kind of bird. One hawk swoops low from the left, pushing the rabbit toward a scrub. Another dives from the right, closing the angle. A third waits perched above, ready to cut off the final escape path. It's not chaos, it's choreography. And here comes the twist. These hawks communicate mid-hunt. They adjust positions based on the other's movements, calling out openings, tightening the circle. Some scientists compare it to military tactics. Others say it's closer to basketball plays. Either way, the prey never gets past the defense. Mini debate hook. Does this make the Harris's hawk the smartest raptor on the planet? Or just the laziest for delegating half the work to its friends? I mean, imagine hunting with your buddies and still being considered an apex predator. Fun fact, these birds form stable family units with strict hierarchies. The dominant female leads the group, males support the hunt, and juveniles learn by tagging along like interns desperately trying not to mess up. It's adorable and slightly intimidating. But don't let the warm fuzziness fool you. Harris's hawks are efficient killers. When the pack surrounds a jackrabbit or a quail, it's over. No drama, no lengthy chase, just coordinated pressure until the prey runs out of space and options. And here's something wild. If one hawk gets tired, another seamlessly takes its place, like swapping players mid-game. Constant pressure, zero hesitation, pure strategic dominance. But while teamwork wins the desert, the next assassin doesn't need friends or cooperation. It rules the mountains alone, and its hunting strategy is so ruthless. Gravity does half the killing for it. If gravity had a favorite assassin, it would be the golden eagle. This bird doesn't just hunt, it weaponizes the entire landscape. While other raptors strike with speed or silence, the golden eagle uses cliffs, altitude, and raw physics to turn the world itself into a trap. Picture a mountain ridge, wind roaring. A young mountain goat climbs, hooves scraping rock. It thinks height equals safety, and usually that's true. But not when a golden eagle is watching. The eagle circles once, twice, shadows gliding across the cliff face like a warning omen. Then it folds its wings, drops low, and slams into the goat's side with the force of a battering ram. The goat stumbles, loses footing, and suddenly gravity finishes what the eagle started. Here's the twist. The golden eagle doesn't always rely on brute force. Sometimes it grabs smaller prey like foxes or hares with surgical precision. Other times it climbs to insane heights, scanning valleys with eyesight so sharp it can spot a rabbit 2 miles away. That's not vision, that's supernatural. Mini debate hook. Is this bird a tactical genius or morally questionable for using the cliff yeet method so often? I mean, when your hunting plan is literally push it off a mountain, you're either incredibly smart or incredibly metal. Fun fact, golden eagles have been documented taking down wolves, not packs, single wolves. Still insane. They hit with such force that even large predators think twice before crossing their territory. And their power doesn't come from size alone. They've got some of the strongest talons in the bird world, curved, needle-sharp, capable of penetrating through thick hide. When they grab something, it stays grabbed. But here's what really seals their legend. Golden eagles are loyal. Mated pairs rule vast mountain empires together, year after year, raising chicks in nests the size of small cars. Aerial royalty with a violent streak, and just when you think the sky can't get any more dangerous, another giant takes the stage, one even bigger. One that doesn't just attack alone, it teams up to take prey most raptors wouldn't even consider. If the golden eagle is the mountain warlord, the wedge-tailed eagle is the outlaw king of the Australian sky. Bigger, bolder, and with a hunting style that feels like it was choreographed by a stunt team. This isn't just a bird. This is a raptor with main character energy. Picture the Australian outback. Red dust, scorching heat, a kangaroo bounding across open ground. Most predators won't touch a roo. Too strong, too fast, too dangerous. But the wedge-tailed eagle? It doesn't back off. It calls for backup. 2 massive silhouettes appear, then a third. They circle, adjust, communicate with subtle wing flicks. And suddenly the kangaroo realizes it's not being hunted by one eagle. It's being hunted by a squadron. One eagle swoops low, forcing the kangaroo to juke sideways. Another drops from above, blocking the escape path. The third waits for the inevitable mistake. It's coordinated pressure, the sky equivalent of wolves corralling prey. And when the opening forms, the final strike is brutal and decisive. Here's the twist. The wedge-tailed eagle isn't just powerful, it's absurdly powerful. Longest wingspan of any eagle in Australia. Massive tail acting like a built-in rudder for insane midair control. Talons capable of punching through thick fur and muscle. This bird wasn't built to hunt, it was built to dominate. Mini debate hook. Is it fair for a raptor this big to hunt in groups? Or is this nature's version of, if you've got it, flaunt it? Because honestly, when 3 eagles the size of small dinosaurs work together, the whole food chain feels a little rigged. Fun fact, wedge-tails are notorious for taking down animals way larger than themselves. And they know it. They've been seen dive-bombing drones, chasing off helicopters, even bullying humans who wander too close to their nests. Confidence? Off the charts. They're aerial monarchs patrolling thousands of square miles, soaring on thermal updrafts for hours without a single wing beat. Everything below belongs to them. At least that's how they behave. And yet even with all that size and swagger, our next assassin may see farther. Literally. It spots prey from distances so ridiculous. It feels like cheating. Some birds have power, some have speed. The martial eagle, it has vision, the kind of long-range eyesight that makes binoculars feel insecure. If the golden eagle is a tank and the wedge-tailed eagle is an aerial gang leader, then the martial eagle is the sniper. One high vantage point, one locked target, One dive ending with a very bad day for something on the savannah. Picture this: blazing heat, shimmering air, nothing but grass and thorn trees stretching for miles. A mongoose pops out of its burrow, scans for danger, sees nothing, relaxes. But high above, so high it's almost a smudge against the sun, the martial eagle is already locked in, watching, calculating, waiting for that single fatal mistake. And then, wings fold. The dive begins. A silent drop from a height no prey ever expects. By the time the mongoose realizes something is wrong, the eagle is already 100 feet away. Then 10, then 1. Impact. Dust explodes. Silence returns. Here's the twist. This eagle can spot a rabbit from up to 6 miles away. 6 miles. That's the kind of vision that makes you wonder if it's actually looking into the future. Mini debate hook: is this long-range, death-from-above skill the pinnacle of raptor evolution? Or is it borderline unfair? Imagine living your life knowing you could be targeted from the distance of 10 football fields. And we haven't even talked about raw power. Martial eagles crush through bone like it's wet clay. They take down jackals, monkeys, even young antelope. One study even found they occasionally lift livestock: chickens, goats, whatever fits the talons. Farmers aren't fans, but nature definitely is. Fun fact: martial eagles spend most of their day soaring, riding warm air currents with barely a flap, scanning an empire of sky and earth. They're patient hunters, striking only when the odds are absolutely perfect. A sniper waits for the clean shot, so does the martial eagle. But while this bird rules the savannas with long-distance precision, the next assassin thrives in the brutal cold, wielding one of the strongest beaks in the entire bird kingdom. Some eagles look impressive. The Steller sea eagle looks like it was designed by someone who thought bigger and meaner were mandatory settings. This bird doesn't fly, it arrives. And when it does, everything around it suddenly feels smaller. Ducks, gulls, even other eagles, they all take the hint. Picture the frozen coastline of eastern Russia. Ice floes drift. Sea spray freezes midair. A seal carcass sits abandoned on a slab of ice, untouched, because everyone else knows who it belongs to. Then you see it, a massive shadow gliding low, wings nearly brushing the water, and that enormous yellow beak glowing like a warning sign. The Steller's sea eagle lands with a thud that seems physically impossible for a creature made of feathers. It steps forward, hooks that giant beak into the carcass, and rips. Skin tears, ice cracks. It's like watching a can opener made of pure violence. Here's the twist. That monstrous beak isn't just decoration. It's proportionally the biggest beak of any eagle on Earth, built to slice through frozen fish, tough seabirds, and even pry apart ice when prey gets trapped. Imagine having a hunting tool so strong it doubles as an icebreaker. Mini debate hook. Is this eagle powerful or just overbuilt? At what point does top predator turn into, okay, now you're just showing off? Fun fact, despite its intimidating appearance, the Steller's doesn't always hunt. It steals, boldly, aggressively, frequently. It will chase white-tailed eagles, gulls, and even foxes off their meals. Piracy isn't a side habit, it's a lifestyle, and the size, unreal. 9-foot wingspan, up to 20 pounds. Eyes sharp enough to spot fish shimmering beneath fractured ice. When it grabs something, the fight ends instantly, because nothing wants to negotiate with an eagle that looks like it could bench press a refrigerator. But here's the most surprising thing. For all its brute strength, the Steller sea eagle is delicate about territory and strangely shy around humans. A giant with nerves. Now that's a plot twist. Still, the reign of cold-water kings can't prepare you for the next assassin. The one that built an entire empire not by hunting harder, but by stealing smarter. The funny thing about the bald eagle is, America's most iconic hunter is also one of nature's best thieves. Yeah, the national symbol, majestic, noble, inspiring, is basically the sky's version of Why hunt when I can steal? And honestly, that makes it even cooler. Picture a river at dawn, mist lifting. A hard-working osprey claws a fish from the water, wings shaking from the effort. It's thrilled. Breakfast secured. It climbs higher, higher, and then the shadow hits. A massive, dark silhouette with a white head and tail sweeps down like a judge, arriving to confiscate evidence. The osprey panics, drops the fish, and the bald eagle catches it midair with the casual confidence of someone grabbing car keys thrown across the room. Here's the twist. Bald eagles can hunt perfectly well. They're excellent anglers, fast divers, power flyers, but given the choice, they'd rather let someone else do the work. Efficiency disguised as arrogance. Mini debate hook. Is the bald eagle a clever strategist or the laziest apex predator in North America? Because depending on who you ask, piracy is either genius-level energy management or the bird equivalent of cutting in line. But don't underestimate the power behind the personality. A bald eagle's talons exert over 400 pounds of crushing force. When it grabs something, the message is clear: mine. And its eyes? 8 times sharper than ours, capable of spotting fish shimmering beneath the surface from hundreds of feet away. Fun fact, they also build massive nests. The largest ever recorded weighed 2 tons. 2 tons. That's not a nest. That's a fixer-upper. And for all the drama, they're surprisingly tender with each other. Mated pairs lock talons mid-flight and spiral toward the earth in a death-defying freefall known as the cartwheel. Romantic, reckless, and slightly insane, the perfect bald eagle summary. But while this thief king dominates rivers and lakes, our next assassin rules the open sky. A hunter so versatile, so adaptable, that almost every small animal in North America fears it, and for good reason. If the bald eagle is the flashy celebrity of North America, the red-tailed hawk is the working-class assassin, everywhere, adaptable, patient, and absolutely ruthless when opportunity shows its face. This is the bird you've heard scream in every Hollywood movie. That iconic "keeer" sound used for every eagle? Yeah, that's this guy. Even Hollywood knows it's the real boss. Picture a field on the edge of suburbia. A squirrel darts from fence to tree, thinking it's safe in the overlap between human chaos and wild space. But perched on a streetlight, blending into the background like it pays rent there, sits a red-tailed hawk, tail glowing rusty red in the sun, eyes locked, muscles coiled. Then, it drops. A clean, controlled dive. Not peregrine fat, but deliberate, precise. The squirrel zigzags. The hawk adjusts with chilling ease. One last burst of speed, and the talons snap shut. Game over. Here's the twist. The red-tailed hawk hunts everything. Rodents? Of course. Snakes? Loves them. Rabbits? Regular entree. It's even known to snatch birds mid-flight and go after rattlesnakes with a "should I be doing this? Probably not, but it'll be fun" attitude. Mini debate hook. Is adaptability the true mark of a top predator? Or does being a generalist make it less elite than the specialists? Because the red-tail doesn't care about ecosystems or niche dynamics. It just eats what's available and thrives. Fun fact, this hawk has some of the strongest feet relative to body size. When it grabs a snake, it doesn't just hold it, it neutralizes it. The grip cuts the fight short before the coils even begin. And its territory? Practically the entire continent. Desert? Check. Forest? Check. Open fields, highways, farmlands, suburbs, city parks? Absolutely. The red-tailed hawk is nature's version of "I can work remote." But the most impressive thing? These hawks mate for life and often return to the exact same nest each year, adding to it until it becomes a multi-story condo in a tree. Still, for all its versatility, it doesn't hold the title of largest, strongest, or deadliest. That title inches closer as we enter the realm of true giants, the assassins of the deep jungle. In a world full of predators, the Philippine eagle walks in like a legend. The kind of bird that doesn't need an introduction because the jungle itself makes room for it. This is one of the largest, longest, most powerful eagles on the planet, and it hunts something most raptors wouldn't even look at: monkeys. Picture the rainforest canopy, humid air, dripping leaves, sunlight slicing through like spotlights. A group of macaques leaps from branch to branch, calling, wrestling, living their noisy monkey lives. They feel safe. They shouldn't. Because high above, perched on a moss-covered branch like a feathered king, the Philippine eagle leans forward, crest raised, eyes locked, and then silence. The jungle holds its breath. The eagle drops from the canopy in a blur of brown and white. Not a dive. A controlled descent, weaving through branches with impossible agility. Monkeys scream, leaves explode. A single macaque leaps the wrong direction, and the eagle hits it with brutal finality. No long chase, no drawn-out struggle, just precision. Here's the twist. This eagle's legs are thicker than a man's wrist. Its talons, the size of grizzly bear claws. And the grip strength, enough to crush a monkey's bones instantly. It's not just a hunter, it's a forest-leveling force of nature. Many debate hook. Is this the most powerful eagle on Earth? Or does its specialization make it vulnerable in a changing world? Because for all its dominance, the Philippine eagle is critically endangered, a giant standing on a shrinking island. Fun fact, despite its fierce reputation, this eagle is deeply monogamous. Mated pairs stay together for life, raising a single chick every 2 years. Every kill, every territory defended, every flight is an investment in the future of one slow-growing family. And its voice? A deep, echoing call that rolls across valleys like a warning from something prehistoric. When the Philippine eagle screams, everything listens. But even kings have rivals. And the next assassin isn't just powerful, it's mythic. A creature with talons so enormous they look forged, not grown, and a grip strong enough to crush those skulls like fruit. If the Philippine eagle is a king, the harpy eagle is a myth. A creature so massive, so extreme, so impossibly built that the first Europeans who saw it thought it wasn't real. And honestly, you can't blame them. This bird looks like someone crossed a wolf, a dinosaur, and a bodybuilder, then gave it wings. Picture the rainforest canopy. Towering trees, vines twisting like ropes, monkeys leaping between branches. The forest is loud until it isn't. Because when the harpy is hunting, everything goes silent. Not out of fear, out of instinct. The jungle knows something lethal is moving. A sloth clings lazily to a branch, half asleep. It never sees the shadow above it. The harpy drops straight down, not fast but controlled, like gravity is just a polite suggestion. And then those talons, those legendary bear-sized talons, snap shut, bones crack, leaves fall. The sloth is gone before it even wakes up. Here's the twist. Those talons aren't just big, they're the largest of any eagle on Earth. Longer than a grizzly bear's claws, thicker than a human's fingers. When they close, the pressure is enough to crush a skull like a grape. Nature didn't design these for intimidation. It designed them for pure domination. Many debate hook, is the harpy eagle the strongest raptor alive, or simply the most terrifying looking? Because with those fierce crest feathers raised, it looks like it's judging you, your friends, and all your life decisions at once. Fun fact, despite its monstrous power, the harpy eagle rarely kills in a frenzy. It's precise, calculated, almost surgical. Unlike falcons that smash or eagles that strike from afar, the harpy climbs, stalks, and removes targets from the treetops like a stealth operative. And yet, for all its power, it's gentle with its mate and chick. Harpy eagles pair for life, build nests the size of hot tubs, and raise just one chick every few years. Because a bird this big takes time to perfect. But before you think the sky can't get any heavier, the final assassin approaches. Not a hunter of the living, but a ruler of the dead. a creature whose sheer size, shadow, and presence dominate entire mountain ranges. Some predators kill with claws, some with speed, some with stealth. The Andean condor, it kills with presence. This is the largest flying bird on Earth, a creature so massive it doesn't just cast a shadow, it erases sunlight. When a condor circles above, every animal below instinctively remembers that something ancient, patient, and absolute is watching. Picture the high Andes, winds screaming along jagged cliffs, clouds slicing across the peaks. Down below, a carcass lies frozen, untouched not because other scavengers didn't find it, but because they know better. They know who owns this mountain. Then you see it, black wings stretching nearly 11 feet, white collar glowing like royalty, and a bald prehistoric head scanning the world with slow, deliberate movements. The condor lands not gracefully, but with a confident, earth-shaking thud. It walks toward the corpse like it has all the time in the world. Because it does. Time favors the patient. Here's the twist. The Andean condor isn't a killer in the traditional sense. It doesn't chase, doesn't dive, doesn't strike. It dominates. When it arrives, foxes scatter, eagles back off, vultures flee. Not because the condor attacks them, but because it could. And in nature, potential is power. Many debate Hook. Does being a scavenger make it less dangerous or more? Think about it. This bird survives on death, rules mountaintops, and lives for decades. Some past 70 years. That's not weakness. That's winning the long game. Fun fact, condors barely flap their wings. They ride thermals for hours, soaring with a grace that contradicts their bulk. Scientists once recorded a condor flying over 100 miles without flapping once. That's not flying. That's floating on the spine of the earth. And that hooked beak? It tears through hide like wet fabric. Frozen flesh? No problem. The condor turns what others leave behind into survival. The ultimate recycler. So yes, it's not a hunter, but it's a king, a ruler of the air, the cliffs, and the aftermath. When you look back at these 25 sky assassins, it's hard not to feel a little humbled. Some ruled with speed, some ruled with silence, some ruled with sheer, unapologetic force. But all of them, every falcon, every eagle, every owl, rewrote the sky on their own terms. From death dives faster than sports cars, to bone-breaking talons, to surgical beaks and gravity-powered takedowns. These birds don't just survive, they dominate. They remind us that the world is still wild, still brutal, still breathtaking, if we just look up. And yet here's the real twist. Most of these apex predators are living on the edge, shrinking habitats, disappearing prey, changing climates. If the kings and queens of the air are struggling, what does that say about the rest of the world? So here's your challenge, your CTA. Tell us, which assassin shocked you the most? Which hunting tactic blew your mind or made you rethink the food chain entirely? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading all of them. And if you want more journeys like this, more dives, more legends, more "I can't believe that's real" moments, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and join us for the next flight. Because the sky isn't done telling stories, and neither are we.